All right, welcome to another deep dive. Today we've got quite a bit to unpack, actually. We've been given a whole bunch of stuff on something called KMS Community.
Okay.
It looks like reports, articles, even like a full-blown case study in here. So someone's really interested in figuring out if this platform actually lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
Building those really engaged online communities and, even more importantly, turning that engagement into some actual revenue.
Right.
So is it all smoke and mirrors, or is there something really innovative going on here? Well, let's dive in and find out.
I'm interested to see what they have to say about churn, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the material seems to go beyond just customers leaving,
Right.
Talks about employee engagement, too, like how those two things, they might be more connected than we think.
That's a good point. It's not just about making that initial sale. It's about keeping those relationships going strong.
Exactly.
Both with your customers and the people who work for you. And it sounds like KMS Community is really positioning itself as like the solution to all of this.
It does, doesn't it?
So what exactly are they proposing?
Well, they're pitching an all-in-one platform, basically. Supposed to solve these engagement and churn problems across a whole bunch of different industries.
Okay.
Businesses, creators, you name it. They're saying they can help build thriving online communities,
Right.
foster those deeper connections that everyone's always talking about. And then, of course, unlock those new revenue streams.
The Holy Grail. Right.
Exactly. It's interesting. They break down their target audience into specific groups.
Oh, like who?
They mention content creators, educators, brands, even hospitality businesses.
So they're not taking like a one-size-fits-all approach.
Doesn't seem like it.
That's kind of refreshing, actually. It sounds like they're actually acknowledging that each of those groups has their own unique set of challenges.
That's what it looks like.
Well, let's start with those content creators. What are some of their biggest pain points? And how does KMS Community say they can help?
Well, I mean, think about it. Content creators are constantly fighting for attention, right?
Oh, yeah, especially on social media.
Exactly. It's all about the algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to build any kind of lasting relationship with your audience when everything feels so, fleeting.
Like you're trying to build a house on shifting sand,
Exactly. And that's where KMS Community comes in with these, what they call branded spaces.
Oh, I saw that. So what are those?
Basically a dedicated online hub, a place where creators have more control.
Okay.
They can offer exclusive content, engage directly with their audience,
Right.
really cultivate a sense of community that goes beyond those quick likes and comments.
So it's about creating a space that you actually own, not just renting space on someone else's platform.
Exactly. And then there's the money-making part.
Right, because at the end of the day, those creators need to get paid.
Of course.
So how do they turn these engaged communities into actual revenue?
Well, KMS Community has a few ideas about that. First, there's this thing called membership tiers.
Okay.
Basically, creators can offer premium content and experiences to paying members.
So like different levels of access.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, I think, is the emphasis on audience ownership.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, creators have direct access to all their community data. They're not at the mercy of those algorithms anymore.
Oh, I see.
They have more control over who sees their stuff and how they reach their audience.
I bet that's a huge relief for a lot of creators who feel like they're, constantly playing this guessing game with the algorithms.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about content creators, but what about established brands? They're already well known, so what are their unique challenges when it comes to engaging their customers?
Well, think about your own experiences. How often do you buy something and then crickets?
Until they want to sell you something else, right?
Exactly. That post-sale silence. It's a huge missed opportunity to build loyalty.
Right, right. So how does KMS Community help brands overcome that?
Well, they've got a whole bunch of tools, like discussion forums so customers can talk to each other.
Okay.
Feedback modules so brands can get valuable insights, and re-engagement tools to pull back those customers who might be drifting away.
Interesting.
They even suggest things like gamification, with badges and leaderboards and stuff.
Oh, to make it more fun.
Exactly, to keep people coming back and interacting with the brand.
I can see how that would work for certain brands, for sure.
Yeah, it's all about finding what works for your audience.
Right. Okay, so we've got content creators, we've got brands. Now, hospitality businesses, they've got kind of a unique challenge, right?
They do.
Because they're dealing with churn on two fronts. Guests, A&D staff.
That's right. Two sides of the same coin.
So what does KMS Community propose for them?
Well, they call it a dual solution. For guests, it's about building communities for travelers.
Right.
places where they can connect, share tips, stay engaged even after their trip is over.
Oh, I like that. Keep that relationship going.
Exactly. And they talk about integrating that with existing loyalty programs.
Ah, so like being active in the community earns you points or rewards or something.
Right. Makes it worthwhile for the
Huh.
guests. But then on the staff side, it's all about building those internal communities.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, regional teams can connect, share best practices, get recognized for doing a good job.
And hopefully that translates into people sticking around longer.
That's the idea. The source material even mentions a potential reduction in staff turnover by up to 59%.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty impressive. They can actually pull that off.
Okay, so they've thrown a lot of numbers and claims at us, but do we have any real-world examples of how this all works in practice?
We do, actually.
Mm.
The material includes a case study featuring a celebrity chef, Maria.
Oh, okay. And what was she trying to do?
It sounds like she wanted to take her engagement beyond just social media.
Right. Find a way to connect more deeply with her fans.
Exactly. So she turned to KMS Community to build that dedicated space.
And what did she do? Just like set up a profile and hope for the best?
Oh, no, no, no. She took a much more strategic approach. She created this space called Maria's Kitchen Table.
Okay.
She offered exclusive content there,
Mm.
encouraged fan interaction through forums, hosted live cooking events.
Wow, so she really utilized a lot of different features.
She did. And she also implemented those tiered memberships. So different levels of access and all that.
So did all that effort actually pay off? Did she see any real results?
It looks like it. In just 3 months, she had 5,000 premium members, each paying $10 a month.
Seriously?
Yeah. And get this, those members were spending twice as much time engaging with her content compared to her social media followers.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful testament to, having your own dedicated space.
It is. It's about cultivating that sense of belonging, that exclusivity. It really makes a difference.
Okay, so we've seen how KMS Community can work for content creators, even celebrity chefs. But what about the tech world? How does this platform play in the SaaS space?
Well, they're making a big argument that KMS Community can be a game changer for customer success in SaaS.
Hmm.
Imagine a world where your customers are helping each other succeed with your software.
Less work for the support team.
Exactly. And you're getting all this valuable product feedback organically.
Sounds like a dream come true, honestly. But does it actually impact churn? I mean, that's what we're really interested in here, right?
Well, according to their data, the answer is yes. They say community members are 3 times less likely to cancel their subscriptions.
Wow.
And they even highlight a specific case, this company called TechCo, that saw a 25% reduction in support tickets and a 10% boost in customer retention after implementing KMS Community.
Those are some pretty impressive numbers. It sounds like they're tapping into a real need in the SaaS market.
Okay, so we've talked about engagement, but let's talk about the different ways businesses can actually generate revenue using this platform. We touched on those membership tiers, but what other strategies are they highlighting?
Well, they talk about creating those fear of missing out experiences, like exclusive offers, limited time stuff.
Exactly, and they really emphasize tiered subscription models,
Okay.
different levels of access and benefits for different price points.
So something for everyone.
Right. And they also suggest integrating community engagement with existing loyalty programs.
Oh, that's clever.
So like you get points for participating in discussions or providing feedback, things like that.
Makes it rewarding to be an active member.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the most interesting strategies they talk about is community commerce.
Community commerce, okay.
Basically enabling buying and selling within the platform itself.
Wow, so like a little marketplace within the community.
Exactly. It's recognizing that these communities can become their own little ecosystems.
Mm-hmm.
And KMS Community wants to be the platform that makes those transactions happen.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the tech side of things. I'm seeing a lot about AI and analytics and personalized experiences. What's going on under the hood here?
Well, it seems KMS Community is leveraging AI and data in some pretty sophisticated ways.
Okay.
They're analyzing user behavior, understanding what drives engagement. And then you're using all that data to create those hyper-personalized experiences.
So it's not just about building a space, it's about actively using data to optimize the community experience.
That's right. It's a much more active approach.
Can you give me any specific examples of how they're actually using AI?
Sure. One thing they highlight is AI's ability to identify at-risk members,
At risk meaning?
people who might be about to churn.
Oh, I see.
So the AI can flag those members,
Yeah.
and then the business can step in and try to, save the relationship.
It's like a digital early warning system for churn.
Exactly. And they also talk about using AI to personalize content recommendations and things like that.
Oh, to make sure people are seeing the stuff they're most likely to engage with.
Exactly. It's all about using data to keep people coming back for more.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the data side of things, they really emphasize a data-driven approach to community management.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, they give businesses dashboards with key metrics, so they can track their progress,
Okay.
see what's working, what's not, and then they can adjust their approach based on like real-time insights.
So it's about giving businesses the tools to be more strategic.
Exactly. To make informed decisions based on data, not just gut feeling.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've seen how KMS Community offers solutions for all these different audiences, but let's cut to the chase. Why should someone choose KMS Community over all the other platforms out there? What are their key selling points?
Well, they boil it down to three main advantages. First, it's an all-in-one solution. You get all the essential features in one place. Second, they have the data and the case studies to back up their claims.
They can actually prove that it works.
That's what they're saying. And third, they're built for the enterprise.
So top-notch security, reliability, all that.
Exactly. They're not messing around.
And of course, they're not shy about highlighting the potential ROI.
No, not at all.
They claim that even a small 5% increase in customer retention can lead to a 25 to 95% boost in profits.
It's a bold claim for sure.
It is, but we need to be careful about jumping to conclusions, right?
Absolutely. There are always two sides to every story.
And that's what we're going to explore in part 2. Okay, so it's easy to get caught up in all the hype, right?
It is, yeah.
Especially when a platform like KMS Community is presenting all these success stories, impressive stats, all that. But like with anything, there are always two sides to the coin.
Right.
So what are some potential downsides or challenges that we should be thinking about here?
Well, one thing that jumps out at me is the potential for complexity. I mean, they offer so many features, so many integrations, that it could get really overwhelming.
Especially for smaller businesses, maybe.
Exactly. If you have limited resources, you really need to think about whether you have the bandwidth to not only implement this platform, but also manage it effectively.
Right. It's like having a professional grade kitchen, All the fancy equipment is great, but if you don't have the skills or the time to use it properly, you might end up with a bigger mess than you started with.
That's a great analogy. And even if you do have the technical know-how, building a thriving online community, it takes time. It takes effort.
It's not something you just set up and forget about. Right?
No, not at all. You need a dedicated strategy, dedicated resources.
To nurture that community, moderate discussions, respond to feedback, all that.
All of that, yeah. It's an ongoing commitment.
Okay, so it's not just about the platform itself. It's about the work that goes into making it actually work. Are there any other potential challenges that we should be aware of?
Well, another thing to think about is the reliance on technology.
Oh, right.
I mean, what happens if there's a technical glitch? Or the platform experiences downtime?
That's a good point.
You risk disrupting communication with your community,
Right.
And that can lead to a lot of frustration. Could even damage your brand's reputation.
Yeah, no one wants that.
Exactly. So it's important to have contingency plans in place.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So spread things out a bit. Don't rely entirely on this one platform.
Right. Diversify a little. And I think it's also worth exploring some alternative perspectives,
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, some people argue that building a community solely on a platform like KMS Community, it can create a kind of dependency. Like, what if you decide to switch platforms down the line?
Oh, right. You'd have to start all over again.
You might lose all that valuable community data, all the relationships you've built. It's like building a house on rented land.
Oh, I like that.
You're investing in this structure, but you don't really own it. You don't have full control.
You're at the mercy of the landlord, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people might advocate for a more decentralized approach,
Okay.
using a combination of tools and platforms to connect with your audience.
So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Exactly. Gives you more flexibility, more control. But it also requires more effort to manage and maintain.
So there's a trade-off there.
Always is.
Yeah.
Convenience versus control,
Okay, before we move on, I'm curious about the human element here.
Yeah.
I mean, KMS Community really emphasizes online interaction.
Right.
But is that enough to build a truly engaged community?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think some people would argue that true community building it goes beyond just online interaction.
Right. It's about those real-life connections, too.
Exactly. It's about fostering genuine connections that extend to the real world,
Through events, meetups, shared experiences, all that.
Right. It's about finding a balance between the virtual and the real.
So with all this information in mind, I mean, how do we actually make an informed decision about whether KMS Community is the right fit?
Well, I think the key is to really assess your own needs and goals. What are you hoping to achieve by building an online community?
Right.
What resources do you have available? How comfortable are you with relying on a third-party platform?
It's about being honest with yourself about what you can realistically handle.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that this is a constantly evolving landscape.
Technology never stands still, right?
No, it doesn't. What works today might be outdated tomorrow. So the key is to stay informed, adapt to new trends, be open to exploring different approaches.
So it's not just about making a decision today. It's about being prepared to adjust and evolve your strategy as things change.
That's right. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive so far.
We have.
We've explored the potential benefits of KMS Community, the challenges, even some alternative perspective.
We've tried to look at it from all angles.
Right. But before we move on, there's one more crucial element I think we need to address.
And that is?
Monetization.
Oh, right.
We've talked about engagement. We've talked about community building. But ultimately, businesses need to see a return on their investment.
They do.
So how does KMS Community address that money-making aspect?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore in part 3.
All right. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential of KMS Community to, build these really thriving online spaces. But, at the end of the day, businesses, they need to see that return on their investment. It can't just be about, warm, fuzzy feelings.
Right.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about monetization.
Okay.
What strategies does KMS Community actually offer to help businesses make money from these engaged communities they're building?
Well, it's interesting how they approach this. They go beyond just those basic membership fees.
Okay.
And offer a whole range of strategies that really tap into the unique dynamics of online communities.
Okay, give me some examples.
All right, so one approach they highlight is leveraging that fear of missing out.
The FOMO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they suggest creating, exclusive experiences or limited time offers that are only available to community members.
Oh, so you have to be a part of the club to get access.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And that sense of scarcity and urgency, it can be a really powerful motivator.
It's like, those velvet ropes.
Yeah.
It makes you want to be on the other side.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
They also emphasize tiered subscription models.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about those a bit.
Right, where members can choose different levels of access
Right.
and benefits based on, their needs and their budget.
So there's something for everyone.
Exactly. It allows businesses to cater to a wider range of customers
Oh,
and, potentially generate more revenue.
that makes sense. More options, more flexibility.
And they don't stop there.
Oh.
They also suggest integrating community engagement with existing loyalty programs.
Oh, that's interesting.
So imagine, earning points or rewards for participating in discussions,
Oh, I like that.
providing feedback, or even just being an active member of the community.
It's like you're getting rewarded for being a good community member.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a really clever way to incentivize participation
Right.
and tie it back to real-world rewards.
Yeah, it could be a win-win for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Well, one of the most intriguing strategies they talk about is community commerce.
Community commerce, okay.
So basically, they're talking about facilitating the buying and selling of products or services directly within the platform.
Wow, so it's like creating a mini marketplace within the community itself.
Right, exactly.
That's really interesting.
It's about recognizing that these communities, they can become these really powerful ecosystems where transactions, they just happen organically.
Right, because there's already that trust, those shared interests.
Exactly. And KMS Community is saying, hey, we can provide the infrastructure to make that happen.
Okay, so they're really kind of pushing the boundaries of what's possible with these online communities.
They are.
But I have to ask, do we have any evidence that these strategies actually work?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the source material, it does provide some data to back up their claims.
Okay.
Remember that statistic we talked about earlier about members spending 19% more with companies after joining their online communities?
Oh, right.
That really speaks volumes about the potential for increased revenue.
It's a pretty compelling number.
It is.
It suggests that, these communities aren't just about engagement. They can actually drive some serious business value.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about choosing a platform that's built for monetization,
Right.
not just a place to hang out online.
Right. KMS Community is saying, hey, we're a business tool.
We can help you make money.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
I think so.
We've explored the features, the benefits, the challenges, the monetization strategies.
We've looked at it from all angles.
We've even considered some alternative perspectives. It's been a really fascinating journey into this world of online communities.
It has.
We've seen how powerful these communities can be for engagement, for customer retention, and ultimately for generating revenue.
You're sure.
And it's clear that KMS community is really positioning itself as a leader in this space.
They are. They're offering a really comprehensive platform that addresses, both the social and the business aspects of community building.
But, as with any investment, it's important to do your due diligence, right?
Absolutely.
Research the platform, talk to other businesses who are using it, and, carefully weigh those pros and cons before you make a decision.
And remember, the success of any online community, it depends on more than just the platform itself.
Right.
It requires a thoughtful strategy, dedicated resources, and a genuine commitment to nurturing those relationships.
Well said. Well said.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this deep dive.
Likewise.
Remember, the world of online communities is constantly evolving. So stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring those possibilities.
Absolutely. Great advice.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep diving deep and discovering the knowledge that matters most to you.